After doing literally thousands of bicep curls over the past 3 years, I've learned that there are 3 main exercises that target each head of the bicep, and they're probably not the ones you've seen before. So today I'm going to show you exactly what they are and how to perform them correctly. So just before we begin, we have the short head, the long head, and the brachialis, which makes up the bicep. So the short head gives you that nice defined look at the front of your bicep, and then the long head does the nice peak like that, where you can see the big round part on the back of your bicep. And the brachialis is the bit in the middle. So if you flex your arm, it's this bit in the middle, and it gives you a nice bit of width to your arm. So for the short head, you want to do any exercise that is in front of your waist. Now this is preacher curls, this is what I love to do the most. However, I am going to say something that not many people say. When you do a rep, go all the way to the bottom. That is a full rep. You see, most people do half reps. They go to about here, and then they stop, and then they go back up again. That is not fully lengthening your bicep. If you've ever watched that guy snap his biceps, where his bicep tendon just basically snaps this way because he's doing preacher curl, it's not because he went to the bottom of the movement. It's because the weight was too heavy for him, and he hadn't trained his bicep in this lengthened position. That is the position you need to train your bicep in, because it's probably weak, right? So your bicep is strong in this position, but at the bottom, because you haven't trained it there, it has not built any strength at that bottom flexed part of the movement. So that's why you need to train this part. Now, if you want even more help, then I have a school community linked in the description where I can give you a personal one-to-one strategy session where I literally give you a workout plan to follow, a workout routine. And I tell you this is exactly the exercise for you and this is how you do it. So click the first link in the description if you're interested. So to perform this exercise correctly, you want to make sure that, of course, you have a preacher curl machine, or you could do it over the end of a bench. You could just like incline a bench and do it like that. And then you want your arms to be at this angle, so they're going sort of like 45 degrees away from your body. And then you want to go all the way to the bottom, as I said, and then when you get to the bottom, you want to flex your forearm that way. So that way your tricep gets flexed. You can see when I get to the bottom of the movement, I'm doing lightweight here, you see my tricep flex like that. And you want that on the basis of all your bicep curls. That is so key. When you get to the bottom like this, you want to flex your tricep. See if I can show you my tricep. When you want to flex your tricep and literally push your forearm that way. And that fully lengthens your bicep. Whereas if you just get to here, then your bicep isn't fully flexed, so you won't have actually trained it in this position, meaning that you can injure yourself and snap your bicep when you do preacher curls. That is why you must train it in the lengthened position. That is so important. And of course, train to failure on every single exercise. When you get to the top of the movement, you want to do the opposite of what you did before and squeeze your biceps into your forearm. So imagine you can't push your forearm any further into your bicep, and you'll feel a nice squeeze right on your bicep there. Now, moving on to the long head of the bicep, this was a difficult one for me because a lot of people do incline dumbbell curl where they sit on a bench like this and then they just curl like this. So they're sitting and they do a curl behind their waist. Anything behind the waist does the long head of the bicep. But I couldn't progress for years. I could not progress literally for so long. I was stuck on like about 10 kg for years. Imagine having massive, like I actually do have big biceps. I'm not even trying to be arrogant. Look, they are quite big. They could only lift 10 kg weights. Like, come on, I could lift 10 kg when I was this little. Like, I just didn't progress at all. So this is a new method that I've found. Like, one of my mates told me, and I was like, oh god damn, that actually works. And now I'm onto the 14s within a couple of months, right? It's crazy progress. So it may seem a little bit weird, but you want to get a lat pull down, and then you want to lift the knee rest, like where you put your knees. You want to lift that all the way to the top, just like this, and don't struggle like I do. So it's right to the top, and you want that to be resting on the back of your triceps. And then when you go back, you want to stick your chest out, so you're leaning backwards like this almost. And then you want to just perform a simple bicep curl using those rests on the back of your triceps to stabilize yourself. So all the way to the top, doing the exact same thing with the forearm squeezing into your arm. Pause for half a second at the top of the movement, slow back down. Don't be just like repping. This is something I forgot to say actually. Don't be just like kipping like this, like that, because you're just using every other muscle apart from your bicep. If you're doing a bicep curl like this, how is that training your bicep? The whole point of a bicep curl is to isolate your bicep. So if you're throwing the weight around, all you're doing is using momentum and using your body and gravity to get it up. You're not using your bicep at all. So if it means that you have to struggle and get like 4 reps, so be it. As long as you can feel it in your bicep, as long as you're really squeezing it and contracting it and using it, that is the most important part. So again, push the forearm backwards, flexing the tricep at the bottom, and then squeeze back up to the top. Nice and simple. And then I actually recommend, when you fail on this, go to single arm. I don't know why, but when I go to single arm, I can just get another rep for some reason. So, and then you can bring it right up to like your eyeball. I don't know why, but you just can. Right, all the way to the top, really squeeze that muscle, and then go back down. And then eventually you get to failure and you're done. I got like 1.5 reps on there for some reason. I couldn't get, my left arm's a little bit weaker than my right. Now, moving on to the brachialis. So lots of people say hammer curls. So basically, instead of doing a curl like this, you use your grip like this, right? And lots of people say that's good for your brachialis. Now, some people say that got vaulted a while ago. I don't actually know if that's true or not. However, I found a new exercise that's way better, and it trains your brachioradialis, which is part of your forearm as well. So it's like a double whammy. And it is this little exercise down here. So for this exercise, we want to use the preacher curl machine again. However, we just want the bar this time. It's called the easy bar. I don't know why. And then we want to stand just a little bit inclined away from the machine, and we want to rest our foot just here. You don't actually need the machine. You can just, rest it on the step or something, but just a little bit of rest there. So you can lean back just slightly. And then when you grab the bar, this is probably the most difficult part, and it's quite hard to show actually. You want to grab the bar, so the V in the middle, the V, you want to be on the outside of that, right? So you don't want to be on the V. You want your hands to be pointing upwards, just like this. And this is actually a reverse curl. Rather than curling normally, it's the reverse, but it's still the exact same formula. So all the way to the bottom, flexing the tricep, you can see that there, and then curling up to the top, nice and controlled, getting a nice squeeze at the top, and then a nice contraction at the bottom. And then of course, go to failure as hard as possible, and at that point you have finished the workout, just like that. And if you want even more help, even more workouts that are custom made for you, even like meal plans, then I've got a school community linked in the description where you can book a one-to-one strategy session with me, where I literally give you your personalized plan so that you just have to follow the steps and implement them rather than thinking, what exercise should I do at this point? And of course, we've got loads of other modules, loads of other courses and bonuses in there just to spice things up. And obviously, if you're confused about something or like, what about this? What about that? Then we've got a private community in there of like-minded guys just like you who want to get onto the same path and get jacked. So if you need any more advice, any more help, then you know where to be. Click the first link in the description. I will see you over there. Good night.